Tony, Celtic FC Foundation set up the Football for Good Fund in March last year when the pandemic first struck, and I suppose for all of us it's kind of hard to believe that we're almost a year on and we're still in the midst of this, but also Football for Good is still going and is still as important as ever.
I think rather naively from my point of view, Paul, I thought that it would run for a few months until June or July and then the world would all of a sudden be back to normal, but it's lasted now for the best part of 11 months and I'm not sure that there's really much of a definite end in sight. I think there's a wee bit more optimism clearly at the moment around a vaccine, but I think we're probably in this for at least another 5 or 6 months. It's been a fantastic response, I have to say, to the Football for Good Fund. We've raised over £1 million in that time. A big credit to the Celtic supporters across the world. We've got committees and individuals who are 100% behind us in Glasgow and London and New York, and they've helped us achieve some of the things that we've did, which is 36,000 families and individuals that we've supported, 10,000 pensioners, 7,000 homeless people, and then obviously we had the Christmas appeal as well.
The Christmas appeal is always a big part of what Celtic FC Foundation do, probably never more important this year. It was a challenge because a lot of the things that you normally do and a lot of things that supporters normally get involved in, due to restrictions, we weren't able to do, but it was still a great response to it.
I think all the things that were normally open to us, like the Girls for Good and the events and the bucket collection on the match closest to Christmas time, none of those things were available for us this year. But still, it was a completely remarkable response. £250,000 raised. We put £90,000 into gifts for 2,700 kids across Glasgow, 75,000 into families who are vulnerable, who've got young children who are in real trouble, £8,000 into pensioners, again vulnerable people living on their own, isolated people, and £30,000 almost to the homeless charities in Glasgow and in London and in various parts of the world, and things like Women's Aid as well. So a truly remarkable response and a real credit to the Celtic support.
You mentioned that figure already of just over £1 million, which is extraordinary. But every penny of that is needed, not only for all the groups that you've mentioned, but also with projects ongoing in terms of helping frontline staff in the NHS as well.
So during the initial stages of Football for Good, we provided 11,000 hot meals and 17,000 hot drinks for frontline NHS staff. And now we're working really closely with them to try and help them create this area within Glasgow Royal Infirmary that gives them a place to go and get away from the utter chaos that they're facing for 12 hours a day, wearing masks and PPE and under real pressure. And I think the whole of the NHS is facing more stress and strain than it's ever faced in 70 odd years.
The Christmas appeal obviously was a brilliant response, but in terms of going forward as well, the work of Celtic FC Foundation never stops, and particularly through Football for Good going forward in the weeks and months ahead.
We were very lucky to pick up a really significant donation from a private individual yesterday, which is going to allow us to create a festival for schools in Glasgow through Easter. We would normally, through summer games in October week or Easter, we would normally bring a lot of kids here and provide some sort of diversion and food for them through a period of time, and we're able now to take that into the schools. So that's a big focus for us in the coming months. We've got our cashback employability project back up and running partially, not quite in the stadium yet, but we've got part of that running. And the plan as we move forward is to focus on Football for Good for as long as it's needed, at least the next few months, and try and get as much of our normal delivery back as just as quickly and as safely as we can.
All those groups, different types of people throughout our communities and society, they always do need our help, but particularly in this current situation, probably never been more important the work that the Foundation do.
I think the Foundation's not alone. There's a lot of organisations like us, not just in Glasgow, but across the UK and Ireland and across the world, if I'm honest. And I think the way that people have responded to that request, the way the Celtic supporters have responded, the way that our funders, our corporate partners, the club's sponsors have responded has been a real credit to everybody associated with the football club.